What's up, guys? M.V.K here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? E3 2011 is over, and when you see E3, or if you've gone to E3, anybody who's ever gone to E3, I applaud you. It's always good to be a gamer when E3 comes around because you get wild and everything like that. Anybody ever tells you guys that it's wrong to be a gamer, or you shouldn't be a gamer, they rot your brain or anything like that? Personally with me, I am a gamer, and if you got a problem with that, you get this right here. Okay? Fuck that. Screw that. I'm a gamer, hardcore, whatever you want to call me. But E3 comes and I'm all over it. I get my information from IGN.com, watch the live coverage and everything on G4, and I was pretty impressed from this year's E3. Actually, there hasn't really, for the past couple of E3s, I really haven't said like, oh, that sucked or anything like that. I was impressed, very impressed. And I made a list of games that really impressed me this year. So if you're a gamer, like I am, besides this pretty much goes out to all my fellow gamers out there, sit back, relax, tell me what you thought about E3 at the end, tell me what games you're looking forward to. Sit back and relax, dude, because here we go. Alright, first I'm going to talk about is the consoles, okay? Nintendo came out strong and talked about their new console. And we thought it was going to be called, a lot of people speculated it was going to be called Wii 2, but it's called the Wii U, And it looks interesting. It looks like the controller and it's really much interactive. From what I saw at the demo, the woman put like the controller on the ground and she was using it like to play golf and stuff with it. I was like, okay, that was interesting. But they didn't say how much it's gonna cost or anything like that, so speculations about that. But Nintendo came out pretty good. Came out pretty strong. Sony came out with some things like the next handheld game. I'm not really into handhelds like I was before. I used to, but gotta admit that PS Vita looked pretty good. I mean, it's all HD now. I saw Uncharted and things like that on that system, and it played smoothly like you were playing on the PS3 or something like that. It was great. So I definitely gotta admit though, the two companies that brought out like new systems or consoles was good. Nothing from Microsoft. That was cool. I didn't mind that, but that's cool. But now we move on to the games. And the first game I want to talk about, I'm not really a big fan of it, but I know a good friend of mine, Geo Crow, forgot his name, Crow 3000, my good friend Robbie, he's a big fan of this game. And the game is called Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. And I watched a hands-on demo of this game, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, I can understand why Robbie likes these games so much. Open world RPG. I love RPGs, but never really been a big fan of Elder Scrolls. Maybe because I wasn't really into those games at the time. But I got to see this game, and I was blown away at the visual effects that the developers put into this game. Not just from the gameplay, but from the foliage, like the grass and the trees and everything like that. I was like, wow, that is impressed. And then seeing them fight giant dragons, I was like, okay. So I thought I'd talk about that first for Robbie. He asked me on Xbox Live, he's like, what did you think of that? And I'm like, okay, I'm impressed. I'm impressed, guys. I'm impressed, Robbie. I'm definitely impressed, bro. Okay? So, to move on, there are other games that really impressed me, and I thought I'd talk about those as well. So, The Darkness. The Darkness number 2, part 2. Darkness is coming back out with another game, still a first-person shooter, but they added new effects to their Darklings that, like for example, one can grab a person and the other Darkling can come and like hack them up. So that was cool. I thought that was cool. Uh, yeah, so I did play the first game. I enjoyed it for what it was. Um, and this one looks just as well cool to me as well. So yeah, the Darkness 2, not bad, not bad at all. Um, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, another Resident Evil game, third person game, but you play with the bad guys this time. Now that's kind of a twist. We always play with the main protagonists, the heroes of the games. This time we play with operatives of Umbrella, because this game takes place between 2 and 3. So when the outbreak hits Raccoon City, where you're going in as Umbrella operatives. And from what I hear, you can also, from the developers, when I heard on the hands-on demo, they talked about, like, you can almost change Resident Evil history. Like, for example, if you see like Leon Kennedy, you can actually kill Leon and actually make it that he didn't survive the outbreak in part 2. That basically we know he did, but things like that. So that was cool. I'm like, whoa, okay, that got me kind of interested. Making choices, that's good stuff right there for me. Um, we'll continue and let's see what else. Let's go to Nintendo. The only Nintendo game I'm really looking forward to, of course, is Nintendo celebrating 25th anniversary of Legend of Zelda. Link is 25 years. Wow, it has been that long. And the next one for the Wii is Skyward Sword. I don't have a Wii, but Malcolm Hulkler 93 has the Wii, and I usually get some games for the Wii that I like. And of course, Legend of Zelda is my guy. Link is my dude. That's my man. That's my favorite Nintendo character. You guys know how I feel about Link. You know what I've always said about him and defending him against a certain mustache plumber. They call the real mascot on Nintendo. I'm not going to get into it, but it's cool. So Skyward Sword looks good. Can't wait to see that. Um, let's see what else. Uh, my fellow PS3 owners, Uncharted 3 looks great. Uncharted 3 looks great. And for all us that have a PS3, I urge you to get that game when it comes out, because it looks great. I saw the hands-on demo and I was blown away. They had the writer of the game as well as Nolan North, who voices Drake. It's great. Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. Great. Another game I advise you guys that have PS3, Twisted Metal. How many of you guys remember that old game, that great game back in the days for the PS1 and PS2? Twisted Metal. They brought it back, and this one is pretty much an origin story, kind of a reboot of the game, but it tells the origin of a lot of the characters, the origin of the Twisted Metal tournament, Sweet Tooth. Remember, Sweet Tooth, the clown guy with the flaming heads. It looks great. I can't wait to that. I'm urge my cousin to get it because he has a PS3. I'll probably get it because I am some down in the future getting a PS3 myself. So yeah, definitely that. All right. Let's see. We move on to one of my favorite RPG games. Square Enix brings us Final Fantasy 13 2. It's pretty much a direct sequel to Final Fantasy 13, and I like when they do direct sequels sometimes. To me, Final Fantasy 10-2 kind of failed in my opinion. So when they brought this one looks pretty good. You play with the main character from the 13. Her name was Lightning. You play with her sister in this one, of course, with a new character as well. So can't wait to that. Of course, I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, guys. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And to continue in Square Enix, there are two characters that Square Enix are bringing to the table. Tomb Raider, Lara Croft is back, and they pretty much have rebooted the whole series now. They're basically telling the origin of her. Like in the demo that I saw, she's a lot younger. They say she's about 20 years old. She's just beginning her journey, her 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 adventures. And when I saw the demo, she was in a tunnel, and it was collapsing, and she's trying to get through it and things like that. But also, we know that she was also being chased by somebody, and at the last moment, just when she's about to get out, you see somebody grab her, and she kicks him away. But I'm a little bit on a cuff with Tomb Raider because there have been times, guys, we've seen uh, Laura Breen brought. They always said, "Oh, this new Tomb Raider game is going to be great. It's going to be the best one in the series." What happens? Total fail. But if anybody could bring her justice, put her back on the map, I think Square Enix can do it. Yes, it's under Square Enix now. Another character as well. Agent 47, Hitman Absolution. Looks great. If you're a fan of Hitman games, you're going to love this one. So, yeah. That was another character that's under Square Enix now. So, two characters that weren't always under Square Enix are now with them. So good stuff right there. Another game, of course, to me that I definitely loved and liked the first one, and definitely can't wait to play the second one is Dark Rider 2. Yes, Dark Rider 2 is back, and I enjoyed the first one. Uh, the character in this one, I gotta give you this one. The character, guys, he looks like a jacked up Skeletor. He looks like Skeletor on steroids in this one. But I definitely look forward to playing this one as well. Uh, so yeah, Darksider 2. And to continue with sequels, let's go with Prototype 2. Yeah, Prototype 2. Can't wait to play that one. Uh, this time around, you play with a new character. He just comes back home to New York City. And the fact now is New York is not the same when he left it. A virus is hit, and the virus is caused by the main protagonist from the first game, Alex Mercer. So Alex Mercer in this game, guys, is the villain. So new twist, huh? But it's good stuff. I definitely look forward to that. Um, let's see. Of course, Soul Calibur 5. You know me, guys. I'm a big fan of the Soul Calibur series. This is supposed to be the final game of this franchise. Basically, this game will take place 17 years after the fourth game, and it's pretty much going to be the last game, I guess, with the usual characters now. Like, they're setting up to bring in new characters, so they might do a whole new jump with new characters in the next one, so to speak. But they say it's pretty much going to be the last one of some of the main characters that we know and love. I'm kind of on the cuff with that. I think even if you're trying to, you got to keep some of the old characters. And even if you're trying to, don't bombard the game with new characters, because sometimes that can fail. And a prime example of that is Mortal Kombat 4. How they bombarded that game with new characters, only a limited of returning characters. Okay? Let's see. What else will I talk about? SSX. Yes, they're pretty much rebooting at SXX, and the game looks great. It's not. The developer said we are not turning SSX into a snowboard simulation. So the over-the-top moves are still in this game. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Some of the characters from the old classic games will be returning. Thank you, Jesus. But it's more to the point. The locations are now real now. Like you're traveling like to the Himalayas and areas in the Rocky Mountains and things like that. So it's still the same old game, just with more realism and things like that to uh, the game. Um, but I'll be back, guys, with part 2 of my overall view of the games and things like that I saw at E3. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. And I hope you guys enjoyed what I talked about so far. And if you saw those games, tell me what you thought of them.